It is Thursday. RawMikeRichards.com. Broadcasting live from the DKI studios in downtown Toronto. 234 King Street East out of the Pacific Junction Hotel. Well, today will be a different day for many reasons. I believe this will be the first time ever in 30-some years of broadcasting that I will be interviewing a very dear friend of mine, a childhood friend, since kindergarten. The reason that she is on today is for some of the many reasons that we talk about issues with mental illness. So you can only imagine when I'm seeing her with Lloyd Robertson talking about suffering from bipolar. I have no words for that, as I assume those that hide it, everyone else would have that same reaction. So Esther Herbert is her name. She is now speaking on behalf of bipolar and those that suffer from mental illness. So strange for ourselves, certainly myself and Dave. We've had other people, of course, when we worked for TSN, the Bell Let's Talk, regardless of those feelings I might have for that parent company. The reality is it does a lot of good. And I think the talking about it is the right thing to do. And so Esther has made that decision, and I will talk to her today, interviewing someone I've known since kindergarten, who either doesn't play for the Leafs or the Argos or the San Diego Chargers.
I've heard it all. Man.
Yeah. I mean, it is incredible, but we're going to do that here today. Also, we'll take a look at the world of sports, Dave, including, and I want to say, and I don't know what the first stadium was to do this, but it became very much the in thing to do in stadium design to have the players literally parade in front of season ticket holders, or, so to me, I thought it was in Jerry's World down in Dallas when he built the football mahal that he has down there. And then when the players came out, if you're sitting in the right place, you see the players before they actually hit the field. Mm-hmm. In Edmonton, when they have the revamped, was it Rexall Place? Have they changed the name again? I'm not even sure anymore. It changed so often.
Rogers Arena or Rogers Place? Place, right? Arena is in Vancouver. Place is Edmonton?
Yeah, Rogers Place.
There you go.
It is, because I'm going to show you something from, I think it's 2014. Is it 2014, Rusty? Maybe it wasn't a good idea. Maybe it's not a good idea to parade your team in front of the faithful when the faithful are not happy with your team. Like, it's uncomfortable. Have you seen that? You saw a bit of it beforehand. Rusty, have you ever seen anything like that? I haven't in the NHL necessarily. I haven't seen anything that cringy almost. And that's the word I would use.
No, yeah. I've seen this clip. I saw it when it came out a few years ago. It's because the Marlies have a similar thing at Ricoh. They walk right by, like, right on the concourse, like, around the fans. I've never seen them do what happens in this Oilers clip.
Because the Marlies win.
The Marlies win.
The Marlies are winning. And at this point, Edmonton's not winning. And you come off the ice and they get lit up. What, it was 7-1. Yet another. It's like Gord Sawyers, the Kilmarnock fan who was sick and tired of his team getting pumped. Well, the Oilers get pumped, Dave, and they walk through. And it is, I got to tell you, this is one of the most uncomfortable. There you are. You have to respect your fans. Obviously, you play every night for them. You get a huge salary to do this.
Sure.
But when you lose 7-1 and have to walk in front of the fans who are normally like, yay, it's Russell Graham. Hey, you're my favorite. But what if you're the Edmonton Oilers in 2014 and the reaction is this? Boo! Boo! Oh, that's ugly.
Big time.
Can you believe this?
You leave your seat to go down there. I've lived in that city for a couple of years. They don't hold back either, which is great. They shouldn't hold back.
Oh my God!
Mismanagement by this organization at that time was just it was just terrible. Just the team. It should have been louder than that. Should have been louder than that.
I couldn't. Could you do that? I can't.
Would
do
I
that.
go out of my way to do that? No, but
Of course,
I
it'd be
think
bad you in the media as they go. Didn't that guy cover us last year? He just booed me. Boo! Like
Boo.
I don't think I've ever made that noise with my mouth. Boo! Like I've never made that sound.
I've gotten mad. You know, I've watched the Jets go to a conference final and lose to a goddamn expansion team.
We've never played before. Okay, stop saying that. Stop saying that, Las Vegas.
Okay.
We weren't even the team last year.
My football team went to a conference final with Mark Sanchez. I mean, my CFL team hasn't won a Grey Cup since 1990. I was in high school. I have a right to boo.
I mean, going to a conference final in the NFL, knowing that Mark Sanchez is your quarterback, is probably akin to sitting in the airport, seeing your pilot come in and go, "Oh my God, he's hammered."
Seriously.
Like, hold on.
Seriously.
That could be good. Hold on.
And he's giving you the double guns
Yes.
along the way. Why is he doing that?
Yeah. When the guns come for you. What? He's hammered. You get on that plane.
So I got to tell you something that happened when you were getting into the show today.
Yes.
Russell told me that it's the National Tell a Joke Day.
Oh, God.
And I said to him, so what's your best joke? And he says to me, why can't you play hockey with a pig? And I went, I don't know, Russell, why can't you play hockey with a pig? And he said, because they hog the puck.
Oh, no. Russell, no.
So, yeah.
Okay, here's okay. All right, national. Okay, I heard a joke. I never tell jokes.
Trending on Twitter.
Okay, I know no jokes, but I heard
people might steal what you're about to say. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay, let's use a university that people would know. Okay. How do you get rid of a guy and get him to get off your property when he's from the University of Windsor? How do you get a guy from the University of Windsor off your porch?
I don't know. How do you get a guy from the University of Windsor off your porch?
Pay for the pizza.
There it is. National Tell a Joke Day.
There it is. There you go, Lancers. One joke. Goodbye. This is what I've done. There's sometimes in translation, as the term lost in translation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get to this weird Japanese clip. But before I do that, we talked yesterday about Ronald Acuna Jr., his tremendous tear of home runs where he hit, 5 in 8 days or whatever it was. The first player, then he a leadoff home run in both of the doubleheader, so a leadoff in both games, including on the first pitch.
Yep.
So last night, this is really baseball. Actually, maybe the way baseball is supposed to be played. They're playing, who is it, Russell?
Is it the Marlins?
Miami, yeah.
Miami. So here's Acuna comes up to the plate, property of Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball Advanced Media. When a guy's been that hot, here's how you treat him in Major League Baseball.
And he got smoked on the very first pitch.
First pitch
Fairchild
of the game.
Right out in front of the plate. Acuna tosses the helmet down. And now in a crouch on the third base line. The very first pitch of the game nails Ronald Acuna Jr. And now the Braves are coming out of their dugout looking at a ring.
Yeah, you've got to come out, I think. I mean, this is the hockey player.
Should have been faster.
Yeah, like immediately. They should have flown on that field. But baseball's like that when it comes to fighting. Of all the fights, it's almost the worst sport. Not as bad as soccer, but still.
Toss right here, Joe. Absolutely, he should. Absolutely, he should. Meanwhile, Acuna is being tended to on the first, right there. Both sides were concerned.
Gee, he's a little lucky, Dave, because when you look at that, the elbow, I mean, for a hitter, especially someone who's been on a streak like that, but to get hit on the elbow, if it goes in the right spot, you could be gone for a while.
Yeah, that would have been season ending. We're sitting here in the middle of August. The Braves are first place in the National League East, and you lose arguably the best hitter in the lineup at this time anyway.
So if someone comes after your goalie or someone goes after your quarterback, what are you thinking about? Why are you not immediately reacting? I don't care if I'm getting tossed or not.
Yeah.
I mean, that might even be a given. But you've got to protect your guy.
Oh, for sure.
And then were they going, can you believe what just happened there, Tom? I can't, Timmy. That's not right. No, I don't think it's right either. Are you getting pizza tonight? Like what? Why?
Like, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Do you like Popeye's chicken? Because I like the spicy one. He's like, oh, hold on. Maybe we should go and protect our young star players. Hit like 100 runs in 2 days.
I was going to continue that sentence by saying, it's really good chicken, but it's kind of pricey.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally, when I go, guys, get out there. We'll pick it up later. And then they're like, you.
Seriously.
Was the Marquis of Queensberry
Seriously.
stance. How dare you?
There's a bunch of Alex Simmons on that bench.
Yes,
it's like, the hell are you doing?
Thank you. That's exactly right. Now, it gets even weirder as I'm looking at stuff. Look, it's a Thursday, and as you've noticed, we just don't care today. So I see this phrasing, and as I said, in translation, sometimes it's maybe not exactly what they want to say. Here's the title of this next thing I'm going to show. Japanese baseball amazing TV personality cute girl. I'm not Japanese. I don't speak a lot of the Japanese, Dave. But Japanese baseball amazing TV personality cute girl? So I don't know what's the property of. Aren't they the Finch-Eyes or the Swallows or what do they call them over there in the Japanese league? But this is the clip that you're going to see, and I guess she's either an amazing TV personality or baseball is amazing. It's a TV who's a cute girl. I don't know. Judge for yourself. It's kind of weird. Here we go. Here's the pitch. Not bad, by the way.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, that's the amazing part. And she is a cute girl. Now, why does this person keep showing like he's scoring the game with the camera? I don't get that. Here we go again. Here's the amazing baseball cute girl. And?
Great leg kick, too.
It's not bad, right? See, the guy keeps scoring. Why do you keep going to the scoreboard?
You know if it's a strike or a ball by reaction.
Here we go. Russell, could you hit this girl? Could you hit her?
Probably not.
Yeah. Okay.
He might. I think he was showing the pitch speed.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's she clocked at?
101 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
So around like 60 miles per hour.
Yeah,
cute, but not that amazing.
Yeah,
not that amazing.
I could take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could take that.
Russ, you don't think you're just taking that all the way to the bleachers? Would you point? Would you do one of those right in front of her? I would. I would. Not like Shaq did the All-Star game because
I'd attempt. I haven't played any game of baseball since like high school gym class, so probably wouldn't do
2 years.
well.
It's been 2 years then.
Yeah.
The highest pitcher that pitched in our league in the MJBL or whatever it was called hit 87 on the gun.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so
that's pretty impressive at that.
Yeah, it's very impressive. He was 17 years old, and then he went down to the NCAA. Blah, blah, blah. Rest is history kind of thing.
Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. Now he's a porn star.
Now he's a porn star. now he's working at Popeye's Chicken to kind of round out the joke that we were talking about earlier.
There's the killer joke. Okay, we've got other stuff coming up today, but I'm going to introduce you to a woman who was very brave in doing what she did. Esther Herbert is her name. I've known her since she was 5 years old. Very often, I think, when you're a guy, you generally have guy friends, which I did. Played all the sports, did all the things you would think I would do. But she was always so close to me. We were always very, very close. So when she announced within this past year that she suffered from bipolar issues, mental illness, I can't tell you what that was like to hear that. She's going to explain her story as we delve into something very quite different on this show. And again, for me, after 30 years of doing this particular job, this is the first time I'll be interviewing a childhood friend, certainly under these circumstances. And it all starts with the Markham Stouffville Hospital. This is Esther in action, what she does best now. She spreads the word. And with Lloyd Robertson there as well and others, Esther Herbert gets up and tells her story. We talk to her after this.
You know, as it's been touched on today, finding a right dosage for what you have will take many tries and many combinations and a lot of work and a lot of teamwork between my doctor and myself. That's not just going to happen overnight. We found lithium to work best for me, and I have been on it faithfully for 17 years. Trust me when I say it's daunting to need people, isn't it? It's very difficult to reach out, and I think the most daunting is when it's at the workplace. So what I have found over the years is that the stigma is the highest there, and so I was determined to go back to the place I was handcuffed, back to the place I was let out, and I wanted to return to work to show myself and others that I am a competent person getting help. So 6 weeks later, I returned to that parking lot, just about to get out of the car, and who would be beside my door but Kathy, that same boss. She said, "I'm here to walk you in, girl." And I said, wow, now that's supportive. That's amazing.
As is that story, as is my friend Esther Herbert. She joins us now in studio. Esther, at Atlets, which I will say publicly is what you don't know what she calls me, and maybe I don't want you to know. We have known each other for, I can't believe I'm saying this, 50 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
I remember when we... 50 years? Of the people that I've known in my lifetime, there's very few people closer than you and I.
Right.
So when you make that particular announcement, my jaw literally just hits the ground, and I think, how could I know a person for 50 years traveling together?
Yeah.
Every night she's talking to me, all the girl, this girl, she's doing this, I don't know what to do. She's like, first of all, find someone your own age. That'd be a great start. But we would sit there over coffees watching Leaf games, and lo and behold, she makes that announcement, and I'd have to think that in this circumstance, when you start talking about bipolar and mental illness, that maybe the most prevalent thing in all of that is the hiding, is the trying to keep others from not knowing what only they know. And so we bring Esther in the studio. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for coming in. I so much appreciate this, because I would think of the things that you've done in your life, and you are quite an amazing person. You've done a lot of things.
Thank you.
But this was something that I did not see coming.
I know you didn't see it coming. No one did. And it was something that was startling to me. When I knew there was something going on from the age of about 15 on, because I was trying to hide anything negative. I wanted everybody to be upbeat around me and happy and so forth. So I didn't really know there was anything wrong in high school, other than the fact I drank an awful lot.
See, this is what shocks me, and there's also sort of a backstory we need to tell. Your parents being staunch churchgoers,
Yes.
Missionary church, and of which you were part of the youth group. As I joined that, obviously a little late to the party, and they're like, "I'm not sure, guys, like you're supposed to be here," but real people of faith. And so this understanding that you had drinks at, when did you have your first drink?
Well, to tell you the honest truth, and we're hoping my mom isn't listening.
Yes, we
Yes, I would say 8 years old is when I had my first drink.
8 years old.
My older brother was having a party in the backyard, and there was lots of beer. So I thought, well, everybody's having beer, I'm going to try beer.
Sure.
And unfortunately, that was the beginning of being an alcoholic, because I went from there to just, drinking. When I went off to the U.S. and spent a lot of years there, I waited tables, and I would drink in the back wait station, vodka in a styrofoam cup. I would do that, and then just go about working, doing the drinking at the same time.
But no one knew.
Nobody knew.
Not your friends that went to church, not I. So I'm going to, obviously, high school parties and having drinks. You did not do that publicly.
I did it secretly because I knew it'd be a humiliation to the folks, and I just thought it was wrong. And also, I had no idea I had bipolar, and a huge percentage of people that do have bipolar are alcoholics. So, I didn't realize any of this. And it wasn't until the year, if we're racing ahead here, to the year 2000, that's when I had this experience at work where I, had the complete break.
Now, you should explain, because they have not seen that. So take us to 2000, because when you're telling this story, Dave's looking at me because I'm watching it on my phone. He goes, who is that? I go, my childhood friend since kindergarten.
That's right.
And he goes, what is this story? explain what happens in 2000.
Okay, so I had procured a great job. I loved it. It was independent. I was in charge of fossil watches, and I was my department. And as time went on, I was working later and later, and got in earlier and earlier, and I was just really caught up in that. Didn't have a clue anything was going on. But so that whole week, I was kind of obsessed with cleaning the bathroom at work. So I would go in, clean the sink, clean the walls, use toilet water of all things. And I mean, I would just do it. If anybody came in, I would stop, because I thought there, on some level, something was wrong. But then on that Friday of that particular week, which was April 7, 2000, I was really, really obsessed with it. And I left there after cleaning, went a short walk up the hallway to my boss's office, and she was not there. So I went in and I locked the door. I sat at her desk. I put my feet up. I really believed I'm boss for the day, and I'm just going to, I answered the phone as Kathy, hi, what can I do for you? All that stuff. I didn't have a clue what was going on. So it just perpetuated throughout the office that, there's something wrong. We can't get in. The maintenance man was off, so he didn't have an extra set of keys.
So the door is still locked.
It's still locked.
And they're watching this show go on.
Yeah, they're outside. They're looking in, trying to look through the window, and they didn't know. They're pounding. They're calling, and I wouldn't open it for anything. Yeah. And I wasn't cognizant as to what was going on. Next thing I know, they had called the police, and the fire truck, ambulance, everything arrived. They broke into the office. They handcuffed me, and they took me down a long hall, it seemed, until we went out to an ambulance waiting to take me to Markham Stouffville Hospital. And I'll have to say that the people in retrospect were amazing. They took all of the staff and put them in the back warehouse so that nobody saw me being handcuffed and let out. Yeah. So I was very happy in the looking back on that. But I went off to Markham Stouffville, and the nurse that helped me that night said that we were giving you sedatives because you were so high. And she said, I've never given so many sedatives to anyone in my 20-year nursing career, because I was so up there. So finally came down, met Dr. Mark Berber. He diagnosed me with bipolar. I had never been diagnosed with that. I was misdiagnosed with depression before many times because I exhibited depression. But if you give antidepressants to a person that's bipolar, it can make it worse. And that's what happened with me.
So it's misdiagnosed.
Misdiagnosed over and over. And bless their hearts, they tried. They were just seeing that. Nobody saw the highs. Nobody asked me about the highs. So I'm a big proponent of saying, ask the questions, because I was never asked, do you ever have super highs? I would have said yes, and the super lows, and they would have put it together. But Dr. Mark Berber did. He put me on medication. It takes weeks to get that regulated. But then after that, I thought, okay, I've got bipolar. I'm medicated. I'm an alcoholic sober, because I'm 26 years without alcohol, which is a wonderful thing.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Seriously, and you're Mike Richards' friend?
Yes, and we're still friends. So without the alcohol and the medication, I was fine. 17 years goes by. I didn't tell anybody but a tiny circle of friends. My current boss, my best friend, just a few.
Sure.
But then they asked me if I would talk at Bipolar Days at Markham Stouffville Hospital. And I thought, yes, what an opportunity. So I spoke October of last year, and that was
spoke very well, by the way.
And it was great.
Tremendous. Thank you. So the first time doing that was so exciting, and now I've kicked off a run in Unionville talking about bipolar. I've been in 2 magazine articles, and now I'm on the Mike Richards show. Woo! I mean, this is the pinnacle.
There you go. We are in conversation with Esther Herbert. She's talking about her issue with mental illness, bipolar, and I think sometimes because we hear those words, sometimes we really maybe still don't quite understand, which is why you do what you do. So if you take us back into those high school years, which I would have seen you basically every single day, and I knew nothing. She was always upbeat, always like, here comes good old Ed, right?
It was well hidden,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
exactly, Dave.
Yeah.
So what was the indicator as a teenager? What was saying to you that you weren't right? What were the feelings? What goes through a teenager's mind, who, for all of us, is a big enough struggle to begin with? But what is it that you didn't recognize or you thought was different that, say, you wouldn't tell someone like myself or any of your close friends or a brother or a sister or your mom? What is it that you were hiding? What happens?
Well, I had a lot of thoughts that I thought were kind of normal for me, but I'd check with other friends and they weren't. Like I would be racing thoughts, and it's hard to describe that because you're just thinking about 6, 7, 8 thoughts at once, you know, and you're trying to filter that down. And if you can't, you get anxious and agitated. So I drank, you know, to calm myself on that.
So is that self-medicating? Is
Very
that what
much.
that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a lot of that. And, you know, I also believed that people didn't really want to be around me unless I was upbeat, you know. So I thought I'll be a chameleon. I'll be whatever anybody wants.
Sure.
At, you know, the lunch tables at SDSS, I would be at any one of them and feel comfortable. I mean, the geeks and the nerds and the band and the jocks. I mean, I'd visit them all,
Right.
you know. And I thought, this is the way you're going to be successful. So unfortunately, when you do that, you just have mask after mask. And the authentic Esther was not there. And, you know, I would be as much as I could be myself in front of you, but still you're hiding back because you don't want to be rejected. You don't want somebody to say, oh, you're really strange. I don't want to be a part of you, right? That's the key to any teenager, I think, is they want to have a clique. They want to have a group. They want to feel like they're in there, right? And so I tried to be a bit of everything. But then in that, you lose yourself.
Right.
Well, I mean, and again, you know, I look at what you're doing now, and you are a person of faith. So we talked to Jerry Organ the other day, who famous place kicker for the Rough Riders, and we got into a discussion about, well, you find yourself in a place that you didn't choose, but maybe it was chosen for you.
Very good.
Right? So I think that what you're doing now truly is God's work.
Thank you.
Because, and I'm sure you feel deep down, not only as someone who's suffered from these instances, but as a Christian person, that this is the right thing to do, and maybe this is your calling.
Well, people say, you're so brave. And I'm thinking, well, I appreciate that. And I always say thank you. I mean, you want to be kind that way. But my path is chosen. I believe, you know, that God really wants me to tell people it's okay, that you can get help, talk about it. There's somebody out there that loves you and is concerned about you. And I mean, if you don't have that, find a professional. I mean, there's some way you can get some help. But my faith is the thing that keeps me going. It gives me great strength. You know, it used to be something I wasn't familiar with, and I thought it was rules and regulations. For me, it's a relationship. And it's just the most wonderful thing in the world. And you want to tell everybody, you know, you don't want to be down their throat, but you want to say, hey, if you need help, you know, God can help you. And I know he'll do it because he did it for me. And he does it every day. It's not something that you get way back here and whew, that's it. Yeah. It's an everyday thing.
And see, what I really appreciate about it, and Dave and I have known Pinball Clemens for almost most of our career, is that once you get into that subject of talking about religion, certainly, or you talk about you know, born again Christianity, these kinds of things, it makes people feel very uncomfortable.
Yes.
But if you meet a Michael Clemens, he's never once, as they say, witnessed to me. He's never ever since I've and Dave, unless you've seen something.
Awesome.
It's by example,
Nice.
which is what you're doing.
Thank you.
Is the example. But I still would think, you know, when you go through something that you battle every day, that do you question yourself? Do you think, is there still the part of that illness that you have to fight in order to do this?
I have to be 100% honest. It is a battle. At times and at days, you just don't even want to get out of bed, let alone go to work and then put on a smile and do your thing, you know. But that, I know everybody has their own, as my mom calls it, a bag of rocks to carry around with them. And this is my particular bag of rocks. Doesn't make me unique from anybody else, but I'm just proud to say that I pick it up and I go every day. And that's a good thing.
You mentioned something earlier that I kind of wanted to touch on. So when you met with the doctor originally, and you said there was a time where the prescription was made out, but there was that fine-tuning period. Can you take us through that and how that exactly works if there's somebody listening to this today and watching and figuring that out? Because it's not just, this will work, Esther.
No.
Take that. Like how did that process work, and how long was that adjustment to that?
Okay, excellent question. It is a challenge for the doctor and the patient, both.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. Their chemistry, their body, everything. What they put in, everything. So I started on many different doses of lithium when I started. And, you know, they were jacked way high and then they were low. And in the interim, you're sick. You know, you have, you know, physical problems, down, up, everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not pleasant. You get headaches, and then you're trying this for 2 or 3 weeks before you see, okay, this isn't working.
Exactly.
Right? And then you're given another dosage, and you're going to try that for 2 or 3 weeks. Mine took over 6 months of just, it was awful. I mean, when I quit smoking and drinking on the same day, I had all kinds of detoxification to go through. It was resembling that.
Right.
And it's not pleasant, and I'm not trying to deter people from getting help. But when you actually battle through all of that, there's so much satisfaction to know that, you know, you made it through. This medication works, and I've been on it for 18 years, and it saves my life. So, you know, a lot of people with bipolar don't want to take their medication because they think, oh, I'm feeling better, I'm fine.
Right.
You know, but I can promise you, you're not fine. You know, your racing thoughts and, you know, grandiose thoughts of yourself will come back, and you'll do nutty things that are not beneficial. So stick with the medication. I mean, I'm a believer in it, and I do it every day. So, you know, that's just the discipline of, if you're an athlete, you have to work out and do everything that you can to be the best you can be. This is my athletic workout. Taking my medication,
Yes.
seeing my doctor every 6 months, talking to friends, having people around me that support me and believe in me. Because, excellent question. It's very hard to get out of bed some days, but you just do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Esther Herbert in studio with us today on rawmikerichards.com. Those watching on the website and the dedicated YouTube channel. A much more serious topic than what we normally have. And if you've just joined us
But a very good
live,
topic to
well,
talk, yes.
Dave, it's one that I think one of the major characteristics I'm guessing when you have to fight your understanding of whatever it is that you feel emotionally going on in your head is the deception, is the hiding. So I would think, if for those listening right now, or for those that might think that a brother, a son, a wife, a daughter, what are they looking for? What are the kinds of things that you would tell them today that if you see blank, what are the suspicions? What are some of the tendencies? What do you look for?
Well, I would have to say, if you have just abnormal behavior in any kind. So, yes, of course, teenagers are teenagers, for instance. But, I mean, if they're overly reclusive, if they cut off their friends that they used to just associate with so much and say, okay, I don't want to do anything with them. Or loud music, and that's all they're doing. That's it. They don't have any other interests. You know, grades go down. You know, all of those things. Then you think maybe they need an assessment. You know, I didn't have that as a teenager. You know, I just tried my very best with whatever I didn't even know what I had. Right. So, I mean, looking back, it's easy to talk about it. But during, it was horrible experience, you know. Went off to university and had a lot of problems there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so, I mean, that's not anything that I would want for anybody. So if they can get help early, parents need to be really in tune with social media, what they're saying on social media, because they could be saying some very dark things, and parents are like, oh, Bobby's fine. No, he's not.
That's
you
a
know?
really great point. We talked about some of these issues yesterday with Joe Juris, a elementary school principal, about the issues of social media. Look, it's tough enough being a teenager or a young kid, but then when you have everybody putting on their best picture, their best moment, the best meal, the best everything, you probably start to feel, I said, just disenfranchised. You know, you start to feel like there's that separation that, as bad enough as you were feeling, now maybe you feel really bad because everyone else seems to have a better life than you. And that's where I think it's a little dangerous. I think social media, you know, where you see issues now where, you know, kids are coming to school with guns. Yeah. And I used to say south of the border. I no longer can say that. Sadly, it is a common occurrence. And Dave and I talk about this all the time. And you just wonder, even with the issue on the Danforth, where the first thing he came up was this battle that he had with mental illness. And I think sometimes, I'd say more specifically, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we're starting to understand because people like yourself are talking about it.
Good.
And it is very, very important. So, in goals for yourself, which are, I would think at this point, what? What is the goal? What if Esther Herbert looks at herself and says, okay, here's what I think I need to do. Here's what I want to do. What would that be for you?
Oh, Mike. I love the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would have to say that my goal is to spread this news, that you can get help, that you can overcome any mental illness. You can become a contributing member. You know, you can have a job. you can flourish. There's no end to it because you're a human being like anybody else. The stigma is so high and so large, even though the discussion has started. But I want to be a person that keeps the discussion going. I always equate it to a huge wall, and it's made by bricks of stigma. And I want to be a person that'll take down it brick by brick, because that is so huge. And if I can encourage anyone to get help, I'm so excited. What an honor to do that. And if anybody wants to hear my story, I'm happy to tell it because I've kept quiet for so long. I'm just ready to just burst to anybody.
So if and you're watching this now and you want to reach Esther to speak at a function, a night, hospitals, Dave does a lot of that. Actually, you do a lot of that work as well.
Yep.
For fundraising or charity.
Probably not as good as Esther.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been awesome talking to you today.
Thank you, Dave.
They can do that. You have a Facebook page.
I do.
Right? And
Yes.
is it just simply your name?
Esther Herbert, yes, exactly. And then I'll be posting this on there as well.
Yes.
Definitely this is a huge venue, and I'm very excited about it. It's the biggest one I've ever spoken at. So, I think the sky's the limit. I walk by faith, but I also believe that, God will equip you at the right time.
Right.
And so whatever situation comes up, somebody calls and says, I need you to do this, I'll be ready.
Well, they couldn't find anyone better. I mean, this is the first time that
Agreed.
Dave has met my
Yep.
childhood friend, and you've always been very, very special. But even more so now. I think your close friends are very proud of you. I know I certainly am. I know your mom is just glowing, just about as difficult as that sounds under the circumstance, but your reaction to it. That is what is special, but you've always been special. So thank you,
so
my friend, for
much.
coming in.
Oh, Dave, nice.
That is the one and only Esther Herbert. I'm telling you, there's not a lot of those. You meet her once, and I'm telling you, and there it is. And she is very, very special. Now we'll go from all those wonderful things being said, the true emotion, battling significant issues, back to clowny,
Yes.
pie in the face,
Yes.
including what I thought was very interesting. Have you ever wondered, and Dave and I talk about this, when you detain someone, maybe it's an invasion, and you break into someone's house, what would I do?
I haven't wondered that.
Yeah, it's probably not good if you got in my house, because who knows what weirdness would happen. This is in Surrey, BC from a couple of years ago. Somebody had a pretty good way of detaining a criminal. It's funny, Jeff Manishin's not here. I'm curious to see what he has to say about this, because he just had a huge case dealing with this kind of thing. In Surrey, BC, apparently they just used their belt.
Please, we need some help right now. Please, thank you. I won't move.
The man on the ground is one of 3 robbery suspects who police say tried to rob this home on 124A Street last Tuesday.
I was about to get ready to go to work, and then I heard screaming. So I'd locked my kids inside the house, put my alarm on, I took my baseball bat, I ran out there.
This is what Ajay Maharaj saw. The suspect restrained with a belt by the homeowners and neighbors.
I saw him on the ground, he was beat, like his face was all swollen, he has bruises everywhere.
Police say citizens' arrests are legal, provided that the suspects are handed over to police immediately and that the use of force is reasonable. 6 years ago, Toronto shopkeeper David Chen chased and tied up a shoplifter. Chen was charged but found not guilty of assault and forcible confinement.
A citizen has to be very cautious.
These criminal lawyers say citizens' arrests can be physically and legally dangerous.
You have to be very careful that you don't detain them too long or don't detain them unreasonably.
Putting a belt around someone's neck can be a very dangerous situation.
The suspect was taken to hospital for minor injuries. The homeowner's not facing charges. One of the men, 23-year-old Andre Naranjo, is still at large, but police say the citizen's arrest helped investigators identify the suspects.
It makes it easier for the investigation when essentially the suspect is caught red-handed.
I won't move.
Nafisa Karim, CTV News, Surrey.
Yeah.
I misheard the question. I thought you were talking about us breaking into something.
Oh, no.
So somebody breaking
Breaks
into our
into
house.
ours.
Oh man, that's
Like
that's nothing.
Yeah.
compared to what I'd want to do.
I mean, you're talking guys that, have you ever seen, was it Law-Abiding Citizen? What's the Law-Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler? Yeah, with Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
That was me. That's me. They go, yeah, but at the end he tries to kill everybody and blow up the mayor, and I'm going, yeah, it's me.
Seriously.
Like, he takes his time.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
He puts him on. He goes, you'll be able, even though you can't talk, you're going to be able to feel everything that I do to you. I'm like, oh my God, I got to record. Where's the hit record? Hit record.
let me get my computer out. I want to write this down.
But see, so Jeff Manishin had a break and enter, but the guy had come off a reservation, so people assumed that somehow there was a racial sort of a tinge to it, or that they that this would be a card that's being. And Jeff Manishin said, this isn't about where you come from, race, color, or creed, or religion. You broke into a man's house. It was in the garage. This guy was ex-military, and his thinking was, well, if he gets by me, as we all have, doors to the garage that lead into the house, his family's sleeping upstairs.
Bingo.
And so what is the considered, I guess, appropriate action? And Jeff Manishin won his case because the perpetrator was shot and killed. He said he's ex-military. And I think a lot of people are like, it has nothing to do, I don't believe, and the judge obviously felt the same way too. This wasn't about being unkind to a race of people or even that individual. It's like, you broke into that guy's house, you threatened his family. And Jeff Manishin won that case. It was a big case. It was a national case.
Yeah.
Joe Juris, who was on the show yesterday, talked about it.
That's right. No, and is there a bigger threat out there to every individual person listening, watching this right now than your own family? Is there a bigger threat that you would? I don't know if there. I don't think there's an answer. I think there isn't a bigger threat.
Like, to what extent would you go to save your family? The answer is anything.
Anything. Yep.
Anything. Your girls are how old?
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
You got it.
You break into some guy's house who has a 2-year-old and 5-year-old. You get what you get. I don't even see what a defense would be.
Bingo.
So you've decided that you're going to do evil, whether it's stealing, whatever it happens to be, but it's going to start with the act of a break and enter, and then you're going to threaten a guy who has babies. And trust me, a lot of people will call them babies.
Yeah. No, they are. They are.
And so that's where I look at what is that?
I don't know. Every once in a while, there's a box to my left that goes off. I know. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's actually just right in the corner. It's like I don't want to unplug it because I don't know if we'll unplug. But okay. I hear it every once in a while.
Okay, I'm going to show you. We showed some crazy soccer stuff yesterday. This show will, we'll finish off too. People say, I want to know what your bets are. So maybe we'll take a look. I haven't looked at the Premiership, which of course, by the way, has started last week. What an incredibly long season, Dave. So you had the World Cup, you had everything that went on, and on August the 11th or whatever it was, they start up the league again. I didn't think it was this early, so I haven't looked at those, but we will look at some CFL numbers. But if we're talking footy, when I first saw this clip, I wasn't sure what the immediate red card was. Russell, I don't know if you went far enough. This guy, obviously, and these are kids, agitated by a guy trying to steal the ball, and they can't get it off him. Well, as he's going down, there's a red card assessed. You don't see it the first time, but watch what happens when it slows down. This, my friend, is a red card. It happens very quickly. Obviously, the guys in white are mad. He can't believe that he's got a red card. Watch why. You'd think it was, okay, so push down, so he's mad to begin with. So he gets back up, he and his buddy, and they are not in a good mood. Watch, so, okay, there's the immediate hit, but as he's going down,
boom,
kick to the head. Kick to the head. Like if you're this guy's dad, you're going, did you try to kick that kid in the head?
Bingo.
I have really not seen much. I mean, it's amazing that age. Okay, so to leave you today, we've got a little. We'll put on Russell's music because I don't think I have any other music here today.
Actually, Russell sent me. Russell sent me another National Tele-Joke text.
So
yeah.
Continue with the hilarity. Let's.
So he says to me, "Hey Dave, how long have you gone without quoting a Sinead O'Connor lyric?" And I said, I've never done it. He said, no, just tell me. I said, I don't know how long it's been. And he says, it's been 7 hours and 15 days.
Yeah, okay, I actually like that joke. I actually like Jack, though. It's pretty funny. Okay, what is funny? Holy smokes. Starting with the Red Blacks, the Blue Bombers, that's part of the Friday Night Football.
Yes.
-7 is the number.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I still think Ottawa fights a little bit. I don't know how good they are. Like, I truly, really don't know how good they are. But that's a crappy football number.
It's a terrible football number. It's almost like the type that you play dog or pass.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That's right on the line.
I think the
me.
Bombers are going to win this game.
I do.
I think the Bombers are probably going to win it under a touchdown. But I'm staying away from that just because of that, and I don't want to bank the dog on this one when they're playing in Winnipeg. And,
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah.
Would it kill you 6.5? Seriously, would it kill you 6.5? The BC Lions, the Toronto Argonauts, and both of those teams on a week-to-week basis, I just don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. So BC on the road is favored, -3. I might be taking the Argos +3 on this one.
Yeah. See, I'm going the opposite way just because I like what BC did to Edmonton last week. I'm still not sure what's happening with the Argos. I like their defense. I don't like their offense.
No.
I don't know what's going on there, and and you'd like to sit there and say, oh, it's a home field advantage, but it really isn't. It really isn't.
It's an empty stadium.
Yeah,
Dave.
it's kind of disappointing.
It is.
And it is a nice stadium too.
It's gorgeous. I went to their first game ever against the Ticats, and it was fantastic.
That's right. Yeah, and when there's people in that building for a soccer game, it's awesome. Why can't they do the same thing for football?
The Edmonton Eskimos. So that is the doubleheader on.
Yes.
I guess Saturday. It's opened at 14, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The number, I think the opening number is 14. The Edmonton Eskimos are now favored over the Montreal -16.5.
Johnny Manziel in concussion protocol, so we're not sure what's happening.
Well, I'm surprised it's on the board then, really.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very interesting.
So
the total is 52.5, and I would think then you got to hope that Edmonton almost carries that whole thing themselves. I don't see a lot of points coming from Montreal, regardless of who's playing.
I don't either. I don't usually sit there and lay down 16.5, but I think I'll do it confidently with the Eskimos at home, especially considering that they were kind of tamed by the Lions the week before, where they're scratching their heads going, you know what, we're better than this. Now let's really put a beat down on the league's worst team.
Yeah.
So
there's your CFL for this week. A lot of these games just haven't been close this year. Surprisingly, the game last week in Ottawa was with the Alouettes. Killed my parlay, by the way. But I still kind of wanted to see him do. People like, are you cheering for Johnny Manziel? I go, yeah, I am.
I want to see him do something.
I like to see people save their lives. I don't get off on the, some people just like to see the massive failure. I've never been that person. I've never been that guy. So we'll see what happens. Also, I'll take a look at the Premiership. Anything we want to get in before I finish today? Boy, I heard some Blue Jay talk on the local radio today. I'm like, oh my God.
You know what's interesting?
Give me pills and alcohol. Sorry, I know we just had Ed on. Esther just came on. She goes, no, that's not what you're supposed to say. But when I listen to that Blue Jay talk, I swear to God, I'm looking for something.
You know what's interesting about the Jays too? Their record is 55-65. If you take away the games against the Red Sox and Yankees, just say they've been eliminated from the schedule, the Jays are 3 games over 500.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
No,
just to even
crazy.
comprehend. We should tell everybody out there listening, programming note, on this Monday, August the 20th, former CFL Commissioner Mark Cohan will be in studio with us. He's with Georgian Bay now. And
I think it's with the Georgian Bay Gin Company. I think.
Exactly. Yeah. And we look forward to having him in studio with us on Monday. It's going to be an awesome show. There's also a couple other surprise guests happening that we're still trying to nail down. One of it could be, and I'll say it, and I'm not trying to jinx it, but Joe Monford is being inducted into the Wall of Fame in Hamilton next weekend because the Ticats are on a bye week. We're hoping to have Joe join us. I'm not sure if it's going to be in studio or on the phone, but worst case scenario, on the phone. One of the greatest defenders of a generation, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and rightfully so, being part of that Hamilton Ticats Hall of Fame.
We'll need extra room in the studio for his biceps.
Yes.
I've never those. He's
coming by, exactly.
Go on. That is outstanding, David. What? Also, when Mark Cohan comes in.
Yep. You want to go do karate in the garage?
His conversation with the fake Jim Rome was probably the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. You had a commissioner of the league talking to a character. He had to have a script because we copied, and it was a parody of what happened between David Stern and Jim Rome. And we did that live, so there was no takes. Live, a commissioner of an entire pro football league.
It was off the chart, great.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I still can't believe we did that. Huge thanks to Esther Herbert, who came in and talked about her battle with bipolar, mental illness, and she is literally doing an angel's work now. She really is. I thank you so much for coming in. Known her since she was 5, and she's never done better. So Esther, good on you. Thank you so much.